This chapter unfolding inside the NASCAR universe feels genuinely rare and unlike anything witnessed in quite some time. It shares zero similarity with typical disputes, it bears no likeness to heated arguments about vehicle setups, and it definitely will not wrap up with one of those heart-pounding last-lap thrillers that fans adore with all their hearts. Rather, this marks one of those unusual moments when you stop everything, sit back, shake your head slightly, and simply say, wow. This truly shifts the entire picture in a profound way. Right now, two completely separate situations are unfolding at once, and each carries real weight while delivering powerful, enduring consequences across the sport. One story revolves around a talented driver who desperately longs to climb back behind the wheel yet remains completely powerless to do so, no matter how hard he pushes. The other story involves a much harsher reality where NASCAR officials believed they had no choice but to step in and draw a firm, unbreakable line. What makes the whole situation even more significant is this: both of these developments will leave a deep mark on the entire season ahead. They will affect championship battles, create new openings for other drivers, and even change how people view certain individuals as the year moves forward. So if you are the kind of dedicated follower who truly cares about the inner details of NASCAR right now, you need to take in every single detail of this latest report. And before we dive deeper, this is my Space Fast Lane news. If what you've read so far has grabbed your attention, I'd be truly grateful if you would hit that like button hard, drop a comment below, and share this with your fellow NASCAR fans. Your support means everything to us and helps the channel grow stronger with each passing day. Let's jump right into the first situation. And honestly, this one hurts me a lot to talk about as a loyal, longtime supporter. We are speaking about Alex Bowman. What began as what looked like a small problem has grown into something far more serious than anyone expected. He's not just missing one race or even two. He has now been officially confirmed to sit out 3 additional NASCAR Cup Series events: Darlington, Martinsville, and Bristol. Let that sink in completely. When you combine those upcoming races with the ones he has already missed, we are looking at a driver who could be sidelined for at least 6 straight weeks. 6 full weeks. And here is the part that makes this whole situation especially worrying. This did not happen because of a big crash. It is not a broken bone or a usual injury coming from on-track contact. It comes from vertigo. At first glance, vertigo might not seem like the most dangerous issue, but if you have ever experienced it yourself or learned about it in depth, you understand exactly how disabling and serious it can get. We are talking about intense dizziness, disorientation, and a complete loss of balance. There is simply no safe way for anyone to control a Cup Series car at full speed while dealing with those symptoms. None at all. It would create an enormous risk. That is exactly why the handling of this has become so cautious. Hendrick Motorsports has made one thing crystal clear: they will not rush Alex Bowman back into the car under any circumstances. And that single fact tells you everything you need to know about how grave this really is. This has gone way past trying to save a season. This is now about protecting the driver's personal health and safety. Because in this demanding sport, anything less than full readiness can lead to serious, possibly life-altering consequences. With the Easter weekend break coming right after Martinsville, the earliest possible return point for Bowman would be the race at Kansas on April 19th. Even that date is nowhere near guaranteed. So in the best-case view, he faces time away from the car stretching well past a full month. In reality, it could last even longer depending on how quickly his recovery moves forward. Now let's look at the real impact, because this is where the consequences hit hardest. Right now, Alex Bowman sits in 36th place in the Cup Series standings, already 94 points behind the playoff cutoff. I will be completely straightforward: his chances of making the playoffs this year look very slim from here. But here is the important point: that playoff picture is no longer the main concern anymore. Not for Hendrick Motorsports, not for his team, and honestly not for the fans who truly understand what counts most. This is entirely about his health, nothing more complicated. We have seen far too many times what happens when drivers try to push through conditions they should not. In Bowman's case, vertigo is exactly one of those issues where even the smallest leftover symptom could turn getting back in the car into an unacceptable danger. As frustrating as this entire situation is, especially for someone driving the iconic number 48 car for a team with such high championship goals, you would still rather see him step back and reach full recovery than watch him hurry back and risk making things much worse. But let's be real about it: his absence creates a massive hole in the lineup. It throws the whole setup off balance and leaves you genuinely feeling for the driver, because deep down you know he wants nothing more than to be out there racing every single weekend. Yet just as you take in that heavy news, things swing in a completely new and unexpected direction with the second situation. This one caught many people off guard, and for very different reasons. This time, it has nothing at all to do with health or healing. It is about consequences and accountability. Daniel Dye has been hit with an indefinite suspension from NASCAR. Yes, you read that right, with no set end date. This stems from comments he made during a live stream while opening collectible cards. In that stream, he described his time around IndyCar driver David Malukas and used language that NASCAR determined crossed a clear line according to their rules. Specifically under Section 4.3c, that particular rule plainly states that drivers must avoid making public comments that insult or target people based on race, gender, religion, or any similar protected characteristics. NASCAR looked into the incident thoroughly, and their decision came swiftly: an immediate indefinite ban without any timetable for his return. The only way back into the sport requires him to complete sensitivity training before any readmission can even be considered, and it did not stop with NASCAR's ruling. His own team, CW Racing, also moved quickly to suspend him the moment they heard about what happened. So this went beyond NASCAR issuing a penalty; his team fully backed the decision as well. In an instant, he was out. From a competitive standpoint, this immediately affects the Truck Series race at Darlington. The team is bringing in A.J. Allmendinger as the replacement driver, and that is a notable name stepping into the seat. Allmendinger currently competes full-time in the Cup Series with Colleague Racing. Although he has not run in the Truck Series since 2021 at Watkins Glen, he brings valuable experience with 14 prior starts in the series. Putting a seasoned veteran like him behind the wheel could shake up the field and change the dynamic of the event. As for Daniel Dye himself, he posted an apology on social media shortly after. He admitted that he spoke without thinking carefully, said he had no intention of causing any harm, and acknowledged an important truth: intent does not erase the impact of what someone says. Of course, fans will have quite different opinions about the apology and the whole incident. But regardless of personal feelings, NASCAR has drawn a firm line and made its position on this type of behavior unmistakably clear. Looking at his season so far, Daniel Dye currently sits in 13th place in the Truck Series standings, already 88 points behind the leader, Chandler Smith. Since 2023, he has made 49 previous starts in the division, earning 2 top 5 finishes, 10 top 10 finishes, and 1 pole position. He has also been gaining useful experience in the ARCA Menards Series, with plans for a full season there in 2025 alongside Colleague Racing, plus additional starts this year with AM Racing. In other words, this involves a young driver still building his career, and suddenly the entire path has been stopped cold. And that captures the real weight of this story. Unlike the first situation, which centers on recovery and eventually coming back stronger, this one is purely about accountability and the results of our words and actions. It stands as a strong reminder of how, especially in today's world where every moment is live, recorded, and spreads instantly, one momentary mistake in judgment can completely alter the direction of a person's professional life. So now you have it, two very different stories, two entirely contrasting reasons, yet both are shaking NASCAR to its core at this moment. One deeply affects a major Cup Series team and a driver who is simply fighting to regain his health. The other sends a loud, unmistakable message throughout the entire organization about behavior, responsibility, and the standards expected from drivers in the modern era. As fans, we now sit and watch closely to see how both situations develop over the coming weeks and months. Will Alex Bowman return with full strength and take back his spot? Will Daniel Dye complete what is required and earn his way back into competition? Those are the big questions that will hang over NASCAR for some time. And honestly, moments like these are exactly what make this sport so incredibly engaging and fascinating. It never stays limited just to the action happening on the track. It also includes the personal stories, the challenges, and the tough decisions taking place behind the scenes. Now I'm looking forward to hearing from you. What are your honest thoughts on these two very different situations? Do you agree with how NASCAR and the teams have handled them? Make sure to share your opinions in the comment section below. I know this topic will spark some passionate and lively discussions, and I can't wait to read them.